They said I was unstable, paranoid, obsessed. My husband told everyone I needed help. His friends laughed. His family pitied him. And I let them believe every word. Because the more they thought I was crazy, the less they noticed what I was really doing. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you enjoy stories about betrayal, revenge, and the quiet power of patience, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps this channel grow and allows me to keep bringing you more powerful stories. Now let's begin. My name is Elena, and according to everyone around me, I was the problem. That was the story my husband liked to tell. At first, he said it jokingly. Elena overthinks everything, Daniel would laugh whenever I asked simple questions. Why were you home so late? Why didn't you answer your phone? Who were you texting at midnight? Each time I asked, he would sigh dramatically, as if he were the one suffering. Soon, those jokes turned into something else. She's been really paranoid lately, he started telling people, always imagining things. The first time I heard him say it was during dinner at his parents' house. We were sitting around the table, the smell of roasted chicken filling the room. His mother poured wine into everyone's glass, while Daniel casually leaned back in his chair. Elena thinks I'm cheating, he said with a tired chuckle. Everyone laughed. His sister nearly choked on her drink. His mother looked at me with that slow, pitying expression people reserve for someone they think is unstable. Oh, honey, she said gently, Daniel works so hard for this family. I remember sitting there, quietly cutting my food into small pieces, pretending not to notice how every pair of eyes had turned toward me. No one asked why I felt that way. No one wondered if there might be a reason. Instead, they nodded sympathetically toward Daniel, as if he were the real victim. Living with a crazy wife must be exhausting. That night, as we drove home, Daniel shook his head. You embarrassed me. I didn't even say anything, I replied softly. That's the problem, he muttered. You think too much. After that, the story spread quickly. Among his friends, I became a joke. At parties, Daniel would sigh dramatically and say things like, Elena thinks every woman I talk to is my mistress. The men laughed. The women gave me uncomfortable smiles. And slowly, the label stuck. The crazy wife. Paranoid. Unstable. Obsessed. Eventually, I stopped defending myself. It was easier that way. Easier to let them believe the story Daniel had created. But what none of them realized was that I had never imagined anything, not once, because the truth was far simpler than their jokes. Daniel was cheating, and I had known for months. I knew the moment he started guarding his phone like it contained state secrets, the moment he began working late 3 nights a week, the moment he stopped looking at me the way a husband looks at his wife. But I never confronted him. I never screamed. I never threw accusations across the room. Instead, I watched. I listened. And slowly, quietly, I started collecting the truth. Because if everyone already believed I was crazy, then no one would notice what I was really doing. Daniel was careful. That was the first thing I noticed. Men like him always are. He never left obvious clues. No lipstick on his collar, no suspicious calls in the middle of the night, no messages popping up while I was nearby. Instead, everything changed slowly. His phone was suddenly always face down. If I walked into the room, the screen would go dark in an instant. He started bringing his phone into the bathroom, into the shower, even to the kitchen when he poured himself a glass of water. At first, he pretended it was nothing. "Work," he said casually whenever I asked. "There's a big project right now." But the big project seemed to require a lot of late nights, 3, sometimes 4 evenings a week. He would come home smelling different, not like perfume, something softer, sweeter, the kind of scent you only notice when someone has been standing very close to another person. And then there were the small things, the ones most people would overlook. A new shirt I had never seen before, restaurant charges on our shared credit card from places we had never visited together, hotel parking fees that appeared on his bank statements, little pieces of a puzzle, tiny details that didn't make sense unless you knew what you were looking for. But the biggest mistake Daniel made was believing I would confront him immediately. He expected anger, crying, a dramatic argument he could dismiss as more crazy behavior. Instead, I said nothing. I simply watched and waited. One night, he told me he had another late meeting. "Don't wait up," he said while adjusting his tie in the mirror. I nodded and smiled. "Good luck with your meeting." But 20 minutes after he left the house, I grabbed my keys. Daniel had no idea I was following him. I stayed far enough behind that he never noticed my car. The city lights blurred across the windshield as he drove across town. Not toward his office, but toward a quiet neighborhood filled with older apartment buildings. He parked in front of one of them. My heart beat faster, but my hands stayed steady on the steering wheel. Then I saw her. She opened the building door before he even reached it. She was young, beautiful in that effortless way some women are. Daniel smiled at her the way he used to smile at me years ago. Then she stepped forward and kissed him. Not a quick greeting, not something that could be misunderstood. It was slow, comfortable, familiar, as if they had done it many times before. For a moment, the world felt strangely quiet. But instead of crying, instead of screaming, I reached for my phone and I took a picture. The flash was off, the distance was safe. Neither of them noticed. Daniel wrapped his arm around her waist as they walked into the building together. The door closed behind them. I sat there in the dark for a long time, staring at the photo on my screen. Proof, clear, undeniable. But that picture wasn't for revenge, not yet. Revenge built on anger is messy, loud, unpredictable. What I wanted required something else: patience, planning, and evidence that no one could ignore. So I started the engine and drove home, because that photo was only the beginning, the first piece of a much larger puzzle, and before I was finished, I intended to collect every single piece. Not long after that night, the story about me started spreading faster. Daniel made sure of it. At first, he only mentioned it to close friends. "Alina's been acting strange lately," he would say, shaking his head like a tired husband trying his best. But slowly, the story grew. According to him, I checked his phone constantly. I accused him of things that didn't make sense. I even imagined he had another woman. Of course, he told the story carefully. Never angry, never defensive. Just calm, patient, almost sympathetic, as if he were dealing with someone fragile, someone unstable. One night, we were invited to a small gathering at a friend's house. Daniel's college friends were there, people who had known him for years. The moment we walked in, I noticed the way a few of them looked at me. Not hostile, just curious, like they were trying to confirm a rumor. Later that evening, while everyone was sitting around the table with drinks, one of his friends chuckled. "So Daniel," he said, swirling the ice in his glass, "how's life with the FBI agent at home?" The group burst into laughter. Daniel sighed dramatically. "Don't start," he said, though the smile on his face betrayed him. Another friend leaned forward. Wait, is it true she thinks you have a secret girlfriend?" More laughter followed. Daniel rubbed his temples as if the topic exhausted him. "She's just going through a phase," he said. "A phase?" someone asked. Yeah, Daniel replied softly. She's been under a lot of stress. Sometimes she connects things that aren't really there. A few people nodded with understanding. The kind of understanding people show when they believe someone is mentally struggling. For a brief moment, the room grew quiet. Everyone looked at me, waiting, expecting anger, tears, a dramatic outburst that would confirm the story they had already accepted. Instead, I smiled. Then I shrugged lightly. Maybe I do overthink sometimes, I said. Relief spread across the table. The tension disappeared instantly. Someone laughed again. Another person changed the subject. Just like that, the moment passed. But what none of them realized was that I had just given Daniel exactly what he wanted: confirmation. If the crazy wife admitted she might be overthinking, then the husband must be telling the truth. From that moment on, no one questioned his version of events. And that was perfect, because while they were busy laughing at my crazy paranoia, I was busy collecting evidence. Bank statements, unusual transfers, charges from restaurants Daniel had supposedly never visited, receipts for hotel parking, even copies of documents he thought were safely hidden in his office drawer. Little by little, the picture became clearer. Daniel wasn't just cheating. He was moving money, large amounts of it. Money from our shared accounts, money meant for the future we were supposed to build together. And suddenly, this wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about something much bigger, much more dangerous. Because the more I uncovered, the more I realized Daniel wasn't simply building a secret relationship. He was building an entirely separate life, and he had no idea that every step he took was leaving a trail straight to me. After that night, I stopped looking at Daniel like a husband. Instead, I looked at him like a case. Cases require patience. Emotion only clouds the details, and the details were exactly what I needed. So I changed my routine. I stopped asking questions, stopped checking where he was going, stopped reacting when he came home late. At first, Daniel seemed surprised. One evening, he walked through the door almost 2 hours after midnight. His tie was loose, his shirt slightly wrinkled. Normally, that would have been enough to start an argument. Instead, I barely looked up from the couch. "Long day?" I asked calmly. He blinked. "Yeah, meeting ran late." I nodded and returned my attention to the television. For a moment, he stood there watching me, confused, suspicious. But when days passed, then weeks, and I never mentioned it again, he relaxed. The tension disappeared from his shoulders. The careful explanations stopped. Daniel believed the problem had solved itself. The crazy wife had finally calmed down. What he didn't realize was that I had simply stopped showing him my thoughts. Meanwhile, my real work had already begun. While Daniel slept, I studied our financial records, our joint accounts, investment statements, credit card histories. At first, the numbers looked normal: bills, groceries, mortgage payments. But hidden among them were things that didn't belong. Transfers to an account I didn't recognize. Small amounts at first: $200, $500, then $1,000, always spaced out just enough to avoid attention. Except Daniel had forgotten something. I handled most of our household finances, which meant I knew exactly what normal looked like. And this wasn't normal. So I started digging deeper. One afternoon, while Daniel was at work, I searched through his office. The room smelled faintly of his cologne and old paper. Inside the bottom drawer of his desk, I found a small black folder, locked. Most people would have stopped there, but Daniel had never been very creative with passwords. Our wedding anniversary. The code worked on the first try. Inside were documents Daniel believed no one would ever see. statements from a private bank account, rental agreements, and something else, a lease, for the same apartment building I had followed him to weeks earlier. Only this time, the address was printed clearly on paper, signed, dated, and paid for with money from our shared account. For a long moment, I simply stared at the document. Daniel hadn't just been visiting that woman, he had been paying for her apartment, building a new life, using money that belonged to both of us. A slow breath escaped my chest. Not anger, not even sadness, just clarity. Because in that moment, the situation changed. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. It was financial deception, fraud, and suddenly, everything Daniel had been doing so carefully was about to become very, very useful. I placed the documents back exactly where I found them, closed the drawer, locked the folder. Then I walked out of the room as if nothing had happened. That evening, Daniel came home smiling. He kissed my cheek casually while hanging his coat. "You seem quiet lately," he said. "Just tired," I replied, and he nodded and went to take a shower. A few minutes later, I heard the water running upstairs, and for the first time in months, I allowed myself a small smile, because Daniel thought he was hiding his secrets perfectly, but in reality, he had already given me everything I needed.
Daniel expected a fight, a messy, emotional divorce, the kind filled with shouting, accusations, and dramatic arguments. That was the story he had been telling everyone for months. "Elena is unstable," he said. "She'll probably make this difficult." So when the divorce papers were filed, Daniel walked into the courthouse looking calm, almost confident. His lawyer carried a thin folder. Mine carried 3 thick binders. Daniel noticed, but he didn't seem worried. To him, this was simple. A paranoid wife had finally pushed things too far. Now the marriage was ending, and he would walk away with most of what mattered: the house, the savings, his reputation. I sat quietly across the room while the lawyers prepared their documents. Daniel glanced at me once. There was a small smile on his face, the kind people wear when they believe they've already won. The hearing began. At first, everything sounded routine. Property division, financial statements, standard legal language that filled the quiet courtroom. Daniel's lawyer spoke first. He described our marriage as emotionally unstable. He explained how Daniel had tried to be patient, supportive, understanding. But eventually, the situation had become impossible. I watched Daniel nod slowly while his lawyer spoke, playing the role perfectly. Then my lawyer stood up, and everything changed. "Your Honor," he said calmly, placing a binder on the table, "we would like to present evidence regarding undisclosed financial activity." Daniel frowned slightly, just a small reaction. The judge adjusted her glasses. "Go on." My lawyer opened the binder. Inside were months of bank statements, transfer records, hidden accounts, every document Daniel thought no one knew about. "These transfers," my lawyer continued, "were made from a shared marital account into a private account that the defendant did not disclose." Daniel's lawyer shifted uncomfortably, but my lawyer wasn't finished. A second binder was placed on the table. "Additionally," he said, "we have documentation showing that these funds were used to lease and maintain a private apartment." The judge's eyes lifted. Daniel's expression changed. Confusion quickly replaced by concern. Then came the third binder. My lawyer slid a photograph across the table, a photo taken from inside a parked car. Daniel, standing outside the apartment building, kissing another woman. The courtroom fell silent. For a long moment, no one spoke. Daniel stared at the picture as if he had never seen it before. Then he slowly looked at me, and for the first time since this began, his confidence disappeared. "What is this?" his lawyer asked. "Evidence," mine replied calmly. Evidence of marital infidelity and financial misconduct. The judge flipped through the documents one by one. Each page made Daniel sink lower into his chair, because the truth was simple. Daniel hadn't just been cheating, he had been secretly moving marital assets to support another life, a life he never expected anyone to uncover. The ruling didn't take long. Daniel would lose the house, a significant portion of his assets, and the financial misconduct would be investigated further. When the judge finished speaking, Daniel didn't move. He simply sat there, staring at the table. The man who once told everyone I was imagining things now had nothing left to say. As people began leaving the courtroom, Daniel finally looked up at me. His voice was quiet. "How long did you know?" I met his eyes, calm, unshaken. "Long enough," I said. Then I stood up and walked away, because the crazy wife he had warned everyone about had just destroyed him with nothing more than the truth.
The story spread faster than I expected. Within a few days, almost everyone who knew Daniel had heard about the court hearing. At first, people didn't believe it. Daniel had spent months carefully building a different narrative: the patient husband, the unstable wife. But documents are difficult to argue with. Bank records don't lie. Photos don't imagine things. And once the truth surfaced, the entire story collapsed. Suddenly, the same people who once laughed at Daniel's jokes were asking quiet questions. One afternoon, about a week after the court ruling, my phone rang. The name on the screen made me pause. Daniel's mother. For a moment, I considered letting it ring, but eventually, I answered. "Hello?" There was hesitation on the other end. Then her voice came through, softer than I had ever heard it before. "Elena, I just wanted to talk." I said nothing. She sighed quietly. "Daniel told us you were imagining things," she continued. "He said you were paranoid, that you accused him without reason." I looked out the window while she spoke. The street outside was quiet, calm. "So we believed him," she said. Another long pause followed. Finally, she asked the question that had clearly been weighing on her. "Did you really know all this time?" Her words hung in the air. For months, they had watched Daniel paint me as unstable. For months, they had nodded sympathetically while he joked about living with a crazy wife. No one had asked for my side. No one had even considered that I might be telling the truth. And now, they wanted answers. "Yes," I said calmly. "I knew." Silence filled the line. Then she whispered, almost to herself, "Why didn't you say anything?" That question almost made me smile, because the answer was simple. If I had, I replied quietly, no one would have believed me. Another silence, heavier this time. Before hanging up, she said something that sounded very close to regret. "I'm sorry." I didn't respond. There was nothing left to discuss. After the call ended, I placed the phone down and looked around the house one last time. My house now. The one Daniel thought he would keep. The one everyone assumed I would lose. Strange how quickly stories can change. For months, I had been the crazy wife, the paranoid woman imagining betrayal, the unstable partner destroying her marriage. But the truth had been there the entire time, waiting, patient, quiet. And sometimes, the most powerful revenge isn't shouting the truth. It's letting people believe their lies until those lies collapse on their own. Because, in the end, Daniel didn't lose everything because of me. He lost everything because he believed I was too crazy to notice. In the end, the truth has a strange way of revealing itself. People may doubt you, they may dismiss you,
They may even label you as the villain in their story, but patience, intelligence, and quiet strength can expose lies more powerfully than anger ever could. Sometimes the smartest move is letting others underestimate you. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves powerful storytelling. And remember, not every quiet person is weak. Some are simply waiting for the right moment. See you in the next story.